Every scar tells a story, not of defeat, but of survival. Each mark, whether seen or unseen, is a gentle whisper from the past, reminding us of a time we were cracked open by life. And yet it is in those cracks that the light enters us. It is through the healing of the scar that we remember our brilliance, our strength, and our divine essence. There is nothing shameful about the scar. Whether it is a broken heart, a betrayal, a childhood wound, or the silent ache of self-doubt carried for years, it does not make you less. In truth, it is the doorway to your greatness. The wound invites you inward, gently, patiently, until you begin to remember that who you are is already whole, already radiant, already worthy of love. Healing is not about erasing the scar, but about seeing it with new eyes. When we look at our pain with compassion, we begin to soften. When we choose to stop running from it, and instead sit quietly in its presence, something miraculous begins to happen. The scar begins to change shape, not on our bodies or in our memories, but in our relationship to it. It no longer defines us, it refines us. What once seemed broken becomes a mosaic of our becoming. You were never meant to be perfect in the way the world defines perfection. You were meant to be real. You were meant to feel deeply, to grow through contrast, to fall and rise again, each time more awake, each time more aware of the infinite power within you. You were meant to be the star, not a far-off light in the sky, but the vibrant, pulsating energy of love that you already are. When you hold space for your wounds with love, you activate your inner healer. You begin to remember that every thought you think, every word you speak, is shaping your reality. You begin to choose words that uplift, thoughts that nourish, beliefs that honor your worth. You create a new inner environment, one where your spirit can flourish. I now choose to look at my scars and say thank you. Thank you for showing me where I needed to grow. Thank you for being the crack that let my light through. I no longer see you as shameful. I see you as sacred. I now see that every painful experience was a call back to myself, a call to soften, to release, to forgive, to love. I no longer resist the healing. I welcome it. Healing is not linear, nor is it something to rush. It unfolds like a flower, petal by petal, breath by breath. Some days we feel open and radiant, other days we contract. Both are part of the journey. Even in the contraction, there is wisdom. Even in the days we feel we've gone backwards, love is still working within us. The universe is always supporting our expansion, always saying yes to our healing. I am learning that the scar does not diminish my beauty. In truth, it deepens it. It adds layers to my soul, depth to my compassion, and softness to my strength. It is the place where empathy is born, where my wisdom matures, where my voice gains power. My scar does not hide my light, it enhances it. It becomes the signature of my courage, the poetry of my growth. I give myself permission to feel it all. The grief, the anger, the confusion, the fear. I hold my younger self in my arms and whispered, "You were never wrong. You were always doing your best. You were always enough." I released the shame that was never mine to carry. I released the belief that I needed to earn love. I now know that love is my birthright. It lives in every cell of my being. I breathe it in now. I let it fill me, soothe me, uplift me. As I continue to heal, I become more aligned with the truth of who I am. I no longer shrink to make others comfortable. I no longer apologize for taking up space. I no longer abandon myself to be accepted. I see that my true power lies in authenticity. When I live as my truest self, I light the way for others to do the same. I become the star, not through perfection, but through presence, through honesty, through heart. My past does not dictate my future. The scar is not a sentence. It is a symbol of resilience. It says, I made it through. I chose to live. I chose to rise. Every day I choose to nurture myself. I rewrite the story. I choose tenderness. I choose joy. I choose to listen to the small voice within me that always knew the way home. That voice says, you are safe now. You are held. You are loved. When I choose healing, I do not erase the past. I redeem it. I gather all the pieces of myself and I bless them. The angry one, the scared one, the lonely one. They are all part of me, and they all deserve love. No part of me is unworthy. No feeling is too much. I allow it all. I hold space for it all. And in that sacred holding, I am transformed. I see now that I am not separate from the stars above. I am made of the same energy, the same spark, the same eternal light. The universe moves through me. It breathes through my lungs. It beats in my heart. It flows in my tears. I am never alone. I am always connected to something greater, something wise, something infinitely loving. And as I align with that truth, I begin to glow from within. This glow is not something I have to earn. It is my essence. It is the divine light that has always been there, waiting for me to see it. My healing uncovers it. My healing reminds me I am not broken. I am breaking open. I am not lost. I am being guided. I am not forgotten. I am being remembered by the deepest part of myself. When I love myself through the scar, I become a mirror for others. I become a light in the darkness. I become a reminder that it is possible to heal, to rise, to shine again. Not in spite of the pain, but because of it. My healing becomes a gift, not only for me, but for the world. The more I step into my light, the more I make it safe for others to do the same. And so I breathe, I soften, I surrender, I return again and again to love. I love hold the scar, I let love do what it does best. Transform, alchemize, illuminate. I allow my life to be a sanctuary of healing, where I no longer hide my scars, but honor them, where I no longer chase validation, but rest in my inherent worth, where I no longer fear being seen because I know now I am the star. There is a divine intelligence within me that knows exactly how to heal. I do not need to control this process. I simply need to trust. Every cell in my body is listening to the thoughts I think, responding to the energy I hold. When I send myself love, my body opens like a flower to receive it. When I speak to myself with kindness, my inner child sighs with relief and begins to trust me again. I now understand that the scar is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where I am no longer hiding, no longer pretending, no longer waiting for someone else to give me permission to shine. I give myself that permission now. I choose to be seen. I choose to express. I choose to create. I choose to live fully. The wound gave me the depth I now carry. It shaped the way I listen. It opened my heart to the pain of others. It made me softer, not weaker, more compassionate, not more fragile. And from this compassion I rise. I rise not as someone untouched by hardship, but as someone who learned to turn hardship into wisdom, fear into strength, and pain into love. When I touch my heart, I can feel the truth that has always been there. I am lovable. I am deserving. I am whole. Even when I forgot, this truth remained. Even when I doubted myself, the universe never doubted me. I was never abandoned. I was always being guided gently through the layers of illusion and fear, back to the radiant star of my being. I honor the journey that brought me here. I honor the courage it took to face myself. I honor the nights I cried and the mornings I chose to rise anyway. I honor every time I forgave, every time I released, every time I loved myself just a little more. These moments may seem small, but they are sacred. They are the foundation of my transformation. Healing the scar does not mean pretending it didn't hurt. It means loving myself through the hurt. It means giving myself permission to feel, to grieve, to process, and then to choose again. I choose love. I choose peace. I choose to live as though I am already whole, because I am. I was never broken, only believing I was. The light I carry is not dependent on external validation. It does not waver with others' opinions or disappear in moments of uncertainty. It is constant, eternal, rooted in the deepest part of who I am. As I heal, this light expands. It radiates through my eyes, my voice, my actions. It touches the people around me in ways I may never fully see, but I trust it has an impact. When I embrace my scar, I reclaim my power. No longer does the past hold me captive. No longer do I replay the old stories of shame or rejection. I speak new words over my life now, words of encouragement, words of worth, words of possibility. I affirm that I am allowed to thrive. I am allowed to shine. I am allowed to live a life that feels good to me. Every time I nourish myself with love, I shift the energy within me. I soften the edges. I soothe the wounds. I remember that it is safe to feel joy, safe to receive love, safe to stand in my truth. There is no need to hide anymore. I am not too much. I am not too sensitive. I am not broken. I am exactly as I was meant to be, brilliant, intuitive, wise, and deeply human. I look in the mirror and see the eyes of someone who has walked through fire and come out glowing. I see a survivor, a dreamer, a soul who has chosen love again and again. I no longer wait for others to reflect back my worth. I carry that knowing inside me. My reflection is no longer a site of criticism, but of celebration. I smile at myself. I place a hand on my heart. I say, "Love you. I am proud of you. You are doing beautifully." The star within me was never lost. It was only dimmed by the weight of pain I didn't know how to release. But now I am learning. I am learning to release the past with grace. I am learning to forgive myself for what I didn't know. I am learning to open to a future that is not bound by fear, but held by love. A future where I write the story. A future where I am the light. My worth is not based on what I produce or achieve. It is not measured by success or status. It is inherent. It is divine. It is unwavering. I am enough as I am in this moment. I do not need to earn rest. I do not need to strive for approval. I simply need to return again and again to the quiet truth of my being. I am love, am light. I am healing. I now choose to speak to my scar as a friend. I no longer wish it away. I thank it for the lessons. I bless it for the strength it brought. I acknowledge that without it, I might never have discovered the resilience and wisdom that lie within me now. I cherish this journey, not for its pain, but for what it has awakened in me. I embrace the divine timing of my healing. I know that I am never behind, never too late, never too damaged to change. The universe is not in a hurry with me. It holds me gently as I grow. It celebrates every step I take toward love. I am safe to evolve at my own pace. I am allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress. As I allow the light of love to reach every corner of my being, I see how far I've come. I see the ways I've already shifted. I see the old patterns I've released. I celebrate my growth, no matter how subtle. I understand now that healing is not a destination. It is a way of living. It is a commitment to show up for myself with tenderness every day. The scar becomes a sacred reminder, not of what happened to me, but of what was born within me, a fierce softness, a boundless empathy, a vision that sees beyond surface wounds to the truth beneathing. We are all light. We are all love. We are all connected. My healing helps to heal the world. My light adds to the collective glow. And so I rise again and again, not to prove anything, but because it is my nature to rise, to expand, to illuminate. I do not need permission to be bright. I was born to shine. The star that I am does not apologize, does not shrink, does not wait for the right time. The right time is now. The healing is happening now. The scar is being kissed by love now. In this space of loving awareness, I continue to hold myself with compassion. I speak to myself gently. I rest when I need to. I trust that I am always moving toward greater peace, even when the path is unclear. I surrender to the wisdom of the process. I welcome the mystery. I lean into the light that is awakening within me. Every step I take toward healing deepens my connection to life itself. I begin to understand that every scar, every wound, every tear shed has brought me closer to my truth. My soul chose this journey for a reason, not to suffer endlessly, but to awaken, to remember the infinite love I was born from, and to become a vessel of that love in human form. There is something sacred in this remembering. As I listen inwardly, I can hear the voice of my inner child, the part of me that still believes in wonder, in magic, in safety. That part of me is still here, still whole, still reachable. I hold that child now. I reassure them with words they may have longed to hear for years, saying, I am here. I will not abandon you. I love you exactly as you are, and I mean it. With every breath, I mean it more. The past may have been painful, but I do not live there anymore. I honor what happened. I do not pretend it didn't matter, but I am no longer willing to carry the heavy luggage of yesterday. I now choose to travel lightly, to walk forward with open arms and an open heart. I breathe in the new. I breathe in the possibility of joy, of clarity, of ease. I look again at my scar, whether emotional, physical, or spiritual, and I no longer recoil. I soften. I see its shape and recognize the story it tells, not of damage, but of resilience. It shows me that I survived. It tells me that I kept going. And not only did I survive, but I also learned to feel, to care, to grow. I bless the scar now. I bless what it taught me. I am no longer at war with my body. My body is not my enemy. My body has held me through every experience. It has wept with me, rejoiced with me, and adapted through it all. I place my hands gently on my body and whisper, thank you. I'm sorry for every time I ignored you, criticized you, or abandoned you. I promise to listen now. I promise to love you through it all. I release the belief that I need to be fixed. I am not a problem to solve. I am a mystery to unfold, a life to be embraced, a heart to be heard. The parts of me that I once rejected are now welcome at the table. The anger, the sadness, the longing, the fear. These too are sacred. They are messengers from my soul, asking me to listen, to feel, to be present. And as I feel, I heal, not because I force it, but because I allow it. I give space to all that has been held tightly within. I breathe into those spaces and let the light pour in. With each breath, I reclaim another part of myself. I call back my voice. I call my power. I call back my joy. Piece by piece, I become whole again. Wholeness is not the absence of pain. It is the presence of self-love. It is the willingness to stay with myself in every moment, no matter how messy or uncomfortable. It is the promise that I will not abandon myself again. I am not here to be perfect. I am here to be real. And in my realness, I find liberation. As I look around at the world, I see others walking with their own invisible scars. I see the silent battles behind the smiles. And because I have chosen to heal, I can now hold others with gentler hands. I can meet them with deeper empathy. My compassion expands, not only for myself, but for humanity as a whole. I begin to radiate a frequency of love, and this energy draws new experiences to me. Experiences that mirror the love I now hold within. Relationships soften, doors open. Opportunities that once felt distant now appear in unexpected ways. My outer world begins to shift because my inner world has changed. This is the power of healing. This is the power of choosing love over fear. Each time I stand in front of the mirror, I remind myself of who I truly am. Not just a body or a name, but a soul, a spirit, a star. The universe created me with precision and purpose. I am not an accident. I am not flawed. I am here as a unique expression of the divine. I carry within me a light that can never be extinguished. I forgive myself for all the years I spent in self-doubt. I forgive myself for not knowing better. I forgive myself for holding on to pain when I didn't yet feel safe to let it go. That forgiveness softens me. It opens the door to self-compassion. It allows love to flood the places I once kept hidden in shame. And now, in this sacred moment, I choose to step forward, not as the wounded version of myself, but as the wise one I've become. I acknowledge that the star within me has never stopped shining. It was only waiting for me to notice. I turn inward and smile. I see the brilliance, the creativity, the beauty, the courage that has always been mine. I am no longer afraid of my light. I do not shrink from it. I do not dim it to make others comfortable. I trust that those who are meant to walk with me will be drawn to this light, not repelled by it. I allow myself to be fully seen. I allow myself to take up space in this world, not with arrogance, but with presence, with purpose, with peace. The more I heal, the more I realize that I was never separate from the love I've been seeking. It lives inside of me. It moves through my breath, my thoughts, my hands. I am the love. I am the peace. I am the miracle. And because I know this now, I become a beacon for others to find their way back to the same. My scars are no longer symbols of what was broken. They are emblems of what has been reborn. They mark the moments I decided to choose life, to choose growth, to choose hope. They are sacred signatures etched into my story, proof of the beauty that can bloom after the storm. I hold myself now in a soft, unwavering embrace. I no longer need to chase love outside of me. I embody it. I no longer need to be saved. I am the one I was waiting for. I no longer seek light in the distance. I am the light. I stand in my own brilliance and feel the warmth of my truth. And as I continue to walk this healing path, I trust that everything I need will unfold before me at the perfect time. I trust my intuition. I trust my body. I trust the whispers of my soul. The scar has become a guide. The pain has become a teacher. And I, having listened, having learned, having loved, now rise as the star I was always meant to be. As I walk forward into the next chapter of my life, I do so with a new level of awareness. I am no longer just surviving. I am consciously choosing to thrive. I do not rush my healing, nor do I push myself to get over it. I have outgrown the pressure to be strong in the way the world sometimes demands, hard, disconnected, or numb. True strength is found in softness. It is found in the ability to stay open, to feel deeply, and to still believe in love even after the heart has been broken. I now understand that the scar was never a sign of weakness. It was a message. It asked me to look within. It asked me to feel what I had once suppressed. It asked me to return to the places where I had abandoned myself and to gently, lovingly bring myself home again. And now I answer with presence, with patience, with the unwavering devotion of someone who has learned the sacred art of self-rescue. There is a wisdom that grows from the soil of suffering if I am willing to listen. The pain that once felt senseless begins to make way for understanding. I see how it taught me to create boundaries, to value myself, to speak my truth. I see how it cleared space for more authentic joy. What I once cursed, I now bless. It was part of my awakening. It cracked open the seed of my true self. As the old layers shed, I become more comfortable in my own skin. I am no longer seeking to become someone else. I no longer compare or compete. I begin to honor my rhythm, my voice, my pace. I realize that I am the star not because I am perfect or flawless, but because I am willing to show up exactly as I am. The real me is enough. The honest me is powerful. I hold myself gently when the past resurfaces, as it sometimes will. Healing is not about never feeling pain again. It is about knowing what to do when it arises. I do not run. I do not silence it. I place my hand on my heart and say, it's okay to feel this. I am here with you now. I will not leave you. I am learning to be the love I never received. I am learning to become the safe place I always needed. The scar becomes less of a wound and more of a map, a sacred geography of the soul, guiding me toward the places within that are calling for light. And the more I meet myself there, the more I trust the intelligence of life. I see that nothing was ever random. Each moment, even the painful ones, has led me back to myself. This journey of healing teaches me to slow down and listen. I listen to my body, which speaks in sensations and signals. I listen to my emotions, which show me where I am holding on and where I am ready to release. I listen to the quiet knowing within, that inner whisper that always knows what I need. I no longer need to ask the world who I am. I already know. The more I connect with my truth, the more I feel guided. Life begins to flow with more ease. I don't need to force or chase. I magnetize what is right for me through my alignment. I attract people, experiences, and opportunities that reflect the love I now hold within. The outer world mirrors the inner shift. I am no longer the victim of life. I am the co-creator of it. This sacred healing does not just stop with me. My transformation ripples outward. As I heal, I break ancestral patterns. I become the turning point in my lineage. The pain that was passed down through generations finds rest in me. I offer it compassion, and I offer myself freedom. I am no longer repeating the past. I am choosing a new path, a path of peace, a path of joy, a path of radiance. Even on the days when I feel uncertain, even when old patterns whisper back to me, I know I am not lost. I know the light is never gone. I have planted the seeds of love so deeply within me that they continue to bloom, even in the quiet seasons. I have become the loving gardener of my soul. I water myself with patience. I give myself sunlight through kind thoughts. I remove weeds of doubt and shame with forgiveness. I do not need to wait for someone else to validate this journey. I know what I have survived. I know how far I have come. I celebrate the invisible work, the inner shifts, the silent courage, the nights I showed up for myself when no one else saw. This is the real work, the sacred work, the soul's work. I continue to show up for myself, not because I am broken, but because I am worthy of love and care. I allow healing to be an everyday practice, woven into my words, my choices, my thoughts. I surround myself with energy that nourishes me. I create space for joy without guilt. I open my arms to receive the life I once only dreamed of. The scar has softened, and in its place, a new strength has emerged, a strength rooted in gentleness. I no longer define myself by what happened, but by how I responded, how I healed, and how I chose to grow. I carry the wisdom with me, not as baggage, but as wings. As I move forward, I am lit from within. I shine not because I am trying to impress or to prove, but because that is my nature. I was always meant to be luminous. I was always meant to shine through the darkness, not by pretending it wasn't there, but by turning on my own light. I now honor my process, however long it takes. I trust the rhythm of my soul's unfolding. I allow each day to be a canvas for healing. There is no deadline. There is only this moment, this breath, this sacred space where I can choose again. Choose to love, to forgive, to embrace, to rise. And so I continue, glowing from the inside, held by grace, guided by truth, and gently transformed by the unwavering power of love.